can you give an example? Like, can you go into maybe like a non-identified case study or example of a fake organization that would be coming to you to do this kind of work?
Yeah. So we once had an organization that approached us to say, um, we want to have this sponsorship. We want to invest in the sponsorship. And for the most part, every time someone wants to invest in the sponsorship, it's there to drive revenue
Mhm.
in some way, right? It's to wine and dine prospects or great customers or clients, whoever that may be. And it's usually a revenue facing activity, right? And oftentimes it's owned by sales, right? Sales wants that sponsorship in there.
Right.
Um, but what was interesting about this is that we were able to actually position the investment in the sponsorship to actually drive engagement within the organization and have it inward facing to say that there's actually greater value if you position the sponsorship relative to your employees, and those are the targets of the sponsorship. And so they partnered with this other organization, they sponsored them. It was a sporting event, but completely designed to increase engagement and volunteerism. And it was just one aspect, one straw in the I'm satisfied in my role, in my job, I love my company type of thing. And it was incredibly successful. It was
Hmm.
a very expensive sponsorship. I don't know that I would have necessarily gone there on my own, but how it was deployed for impact purposes, I think created a lot more brand love internally first, and that spills out externally, right? Your number one advocates for your brand are typically your employees, right? We always kind of call them your employees are your canary in the coal mine, right? If you have a great culture, if you have a toxic culture, that's the signal to the market, right? Because it oftentimes spills out. Then the eventual effect of that, the long tail effect of that, will be lost other partnerships, eroding revenues,
Yeah.
right?
Probably
Slowly
some turnover as well.
turnover, exactly, things like that. So being able to redefine impact and value from revenue to something that a lot of people wouldn't have thought about is just one example of how you can do this.
Yeah,
And
that's
if you were to
interesting.
measure that from a brand value perspective, your value didn't go up, right?
Hmm.
That's the problem, because brand value is a function of revenue generation and the attribution of your trademark and how people feel about your brand in revenue generation. So that includes cost of capital, risk rates, country risk, all these things. And your brand value can increase one day because one of the risk rates changed, but you did nothing in the market that was different,
Hmm.
right? So or your value can decline radically because of one of these things. And so that's why the focus for me isn't that number, it's about how do we redefine impact.